Hey everyone, Erica with K here, back with another manipulating fabric or upcycling or whatever you want to call it. So this is a shirt that was actually my grandma's, and I had asked my aunt, I was like, hey, do you have any things that were grandma's? And she's like, I donated basically everything, but I have like two things, and this was one of them. So I was like, I'm going to make this into a cute little shirt for myself. And shout out to my husband's feet because they're always in my video. I just thought that this was such a pretty shirt. So the first thing I do is I turn it inside out and I take safety pins because safety pins are better than the other kind of pins, like, I don't know, push pins, because they close and I have to get this off of me now that it's on me. And I have a video in the future coming out that talks about like an ugly sweater party. And it's the first time I had sewn something the way that I'm going to be sewing it in this video, and probably for the rest of my life, because it's so easy. And in that video, I had like an epiphany and I was like, oh, that's what happens when you sew it like this. So what I'm talking about is I don't detach the sleeves. I leave the sleeves on and I just sew in, like, I don't know, I just make it as easy as possible without detaching the sleeves. And I just kind of do, you'll see when I do it here. So it kind of gives almost like not a full bat wing. I think they're called like domain wings or something like that, like sleeves. And it gives that look, and I actually really like it, especially because I'm a flatty. It just kind of doesn't accentuate my flatness as much, just doing the sleeves that way. I know that probably sounds a little silly, but I also like to half-ass everything I do, and so it's really great for me because I don't want to remove the sleeves, do the sleeves, put the sleeves back on. That's just like a lot of unnecessary work in my ADHD brain. So I'm gonna go in, and this is what I am doing. I am safety pinning a general outline of my body. Unfortunately, I don't have one of those rollers yet that like cuts the fabric when you roll it. So I do have to scissor cut it, which is quite annoying, even though I have fabric scissors, but it's never perfect. So I like to give myself a little bit of room so that I could sew on the inside of this, and I also can like cut the fabric and everything like that. So this is what it looks like when I have it down, and I just wanted to lay it on top of itself to see if everything was even on both sides, if the sleeves were the same size and everything like that. And then what I wind up doing is I take out the pins. Oh, nope, first I cut. Okay, that makes sense. So first I'm going to cut along on the outside of where all the safety pins are. Why is that not in this video? I definitely cut it already. Let's no, I didn't. I didn't cut it already. That's why it's not in this video. It's coming soon. Coming to my video soon. Okay, so what I did was I first laid it up next to each other. And I had a general idea of where those pins were. And I just wanted to make sure when I did cut this or whatever I just decided to do next, because who really knows? It's never really a tutorial, that it's even, because I don't want it to be lopsided, especially because there is a V-neck and there are buttons that go down the front that show the center of it. So I just didn't want it to be off-centered. I also, like I said, didn't want the sleeves to be uneven, like one sleeve is looser than the other sleeve or tighter or whatnot. So I go around and I cut most of the excess off. I don't have a serger. I know a lot of people have a serger, and I believe that cuts the material as you're sewing, but I don't have that. So once I sew, I also have to go in and cut the excess off, or at least I just choose to do that. It's better than ironing, in my opinion. Of course, I'm going to keep the scraps because I always keep it, and I do have projects in the future that I'm going to use it for. Okay, so now I'm going to pull the first two layers off so that that's that one side. And I'm going to put the pins back in. This is why I gave myself a little bit of extra room when I was doing the size on this, because I know that it's not the final size. Does that make sense? I know that like I'm going to go in more with my cutting and my sewing. So anyway, that's what I'm doing here. And then I'm going to do it to the other side. I just want to say, and I will say this for the rest of my life, I got a prophylactic bilateral mastectomy because I was high risk for breast cancer. I used to have 32 double F boobs. I'm completely flat now. Not having boobs makes altering clothes so much easier. So if you're somebody who likes to sew, or if you're feeling like you want to alter your clothes and you're like, things just don't fit me right because of my boobs, I get it. I'm not here to gaslight you. It is so much easier just being completely flat. And I'm not saying go out and go be flat for that, but I'm just saying I am aware of my privilege of being flat today. Oh, and check out in the background, we have those air conditioner covers. You can see that in my other video that I recently posted of making those air conditioner covers. And yes, we still have a tree up, and I started to decorate it for the holidays, Valentine's Day when I was recording this, but I never got around to finishing it. Anyway, okay, so now we're going to open it up. And we're going to lay it out as flat as possible, and we're going to match up the sides because remember, this is cut now, and I just want to make sure that when I put these safety pins back in, again, that it's even And that's really important because you don't want it to look lopsided. You don't want it to look crooked on you. You want it to be even. I talk a lot. I'm really filling up space here. Okay, I'm gonna put on, like, some nature sounds so that I don't have to bore you guys to tears, and then I'll be back for the important stuff. I would usually wanna do music, but every time I try to do free music or any kind of music, I get demonetized, and I'm not doing this for nothing, folks. All I'm asking is that you watch my video, and I love you forever, and that helps me out. So I'm going to do nature sounds, from my own backyard that I filmed myself so that I can't get demonetized. Enjoy. Okay, so now we're finally onto the other side. This by far takes the longest out of everything, just making sure that before you put it into the machine, that it's lined up correctly and that everything's going to be right. You can definitely take out a stitch once you've done it, but like, do you want to do that? No, I don't think so. I certainly don't. So this part underneath the sleeve was very confusing to me. There was like a stitch there that wasn't on the other side. And so I was like, what's going on? Like, did I cut this wrong? Why is this like this? And I stared at it for way too long and came to the conclusion that we're just going to sew over it and we're not going to worry about it. So I just take the safety pins and I just go up that side. For this, because the shirt is long on me, I didn't hem the bottom part that has like that eyelet on it. I didn't hem that part on the bottom because I wanted it to be a little open because I have a big bootay. But I did hem the eyelet on the sleeves because I wanted the sleeves to be completely closed. I didn't want it to look like it was unfinished. So again, this is inside out at this point when we're doing this, and I'm just pinning it up to the best of my ability. And to be honest, I was more of a perfectionist about this than I usually am. And I also want to just say that I did all of, I'm going to say measurements, but are they really measurements when I didn't measure anything? All the measurements the night before, and then the following morning is when I actually sewed everything. And to be honest, I highly recommend that because you just get to walk into it with a clear head and just sew. It's so easy, especially if you're doing something like I do where you're just like free balling your life away. So yeah, I always wonder, like, do people actually watch my videos and listen to my audio? Like, did you just hear me say free ball? Like, I don't know. I don't know. Let's listen to some more nature sounds. Actually, no, we're going to get to the actual sewing. That's good. That'll be good for us. Okay, so this is not a great view of it, but I did want to just have this in here. This is me sewing the actual shirt together. It took me a while to get everything in place because I had to take out the safety pins and make sure that there were no gaps or bubbles or that it was picking up on both sides. You know, all the usual stuff that goes on when you sew. And like I said, this was the next morning. That's why it's like bright out today and the blinds are open, and the other one, the blinds were closed. Not important. Okay, so here we go. We're gonna start sewing, and I keep in a lot of sewing this side, and you can see that it's just very easy. I start with a little bit of a sew, then I do a back stitch, and then I do a sew, and then at the end, I always end with a back stitch. I have a whole video talking about tips that I wish I knew going into sewing, like before I knew what I was doing, and talking about the back stitch is one of them because I just found that out recently. Not gonna lie to any of you guys. I'm self-taught at sewing, so it's a lot of trial and error. But anyway, you guys can hear the sewing machine now. Yay, so fun. I usually never get even a glimpse of the sewing machine because I don't have a setup for that, but I'm really trying my best to like do this better. I do get a front view too where I was holding it and sewing at the same time. Really risky. I don't recommend. I was thinking like I need one of those hats that have like a GoPro on it and I could just like I should just wear it through life like a dog. Like I should just like put it on, just wear it through life and just like film that like what my life is like. I think that's quite funny. Anyway, I think we're gonna get another view where you could hear the sewing machine again. Hey, that's it. That's all the sewing we got. Okay, so here we are. This is the end result. I would not wear this with blue pants. Usually I put on an outfit at the end to show you guys, but I'm just wearing my pajamas in this. But as you can see, the stitching hem on the bottom doesn't line up perfectly, but I also did not hem it together because like I said earlier, my big bootay, but you really like can't tell. I think it's like like, I love the way it looks. I think it looks great. I'm really happy with it, and like I said, these sleeves, I don't detach and resew. I just kinda did, like, a whole almost like a candy cane right up. That's kinda how, like, I always sew, like, a candy cane on either side that just goes from the bottom, around the armpit, to the end of the sleeve, and this is what it looks like when you do that. And here's Dolly coming in to say hi. "Hi, Dolly, it's so good to see you." She's smelling me because she knows that this shirt is not it's not from here, and she's curious. But anyway, what do you guys think? Let me know. I love you so much. Bye.